right, you guys, thanks for coming to another session. I'm glad you guys could come on your lunch to meet this next time. So I just want to recap briefly what we talked about last week, and it won't make you guys refer to each other as your secret code name, like Musical Morgan. But, you know, we had a little icebreaker, tried to get to know each other, and we did talk about confidentiality, and again, that goes for every session, so whatever we say in here is confidential amongst our group. Again, unless you feel like harming yourself or someone else, we'll deal with that individually, but everything we talk about is confidential here. So one thing I wanted to try today, you know, last time we talked about our individual obstacles, if you will, or things that we're dealing with being a first-year freshman or first-year college student. And, you know, for Christy, it's really hard. She's a high school student and a college student. She's an accelerated learner. And, you know, we all had our individual kind of obstacle we're facing, and each person has their own journey. So one thing I was thinking we could do is start dealing with or being creative on how to deal with some of the obstacles. And so I thought it would be fun. Let me give you guys a piece of paper. And I only brought one pencil, so you might need to grab some more pencils unless you guys have a pen. There you go. And there's a pencil on that desk too, Morgan, if you want to grab that. So what I'm thinking here is just kind of a very quick, fun activity. So, you know, if you could think of any two things, like we had a secret genie lamp, or you had a little secret bag of wishes, and you could pick two things where it would just come true and it would just kind of help deal with, you know, making you feel full, making you feel content, either at graduation day or at the end of to get to your career, if that's what you're choosing, a career pathway, or if you're on a personal journey while you're here at college. You know, what are two things that you think you could wish for that would solve some of the obstacles that you're dealing with? So, for example, maybe it's, you know, unlimited money, or for me, maybe it would be, you know, guaranteed childcare, because then I wouldn't have to constantly worry that my babies are okay while I'm working or going to school or doing that kind of thing. So in your personal journey right now, if you could pick two things that would help you get to your goal, and it could be anything, maybe it's a Secret Service dog, I don't know, but what would those two things be? So we'll take a minute and, you know, think about what your two things are, and we'll kind of look at your guys' wishes. I'm going to grab a pen myself too. How are we feeling? We have two magical wishes. The genie that's going to come from a mysterious place like the end of the rainbow. All right, who wants to go first? Who wants to tell me? I would say, tell me what your two wishes are, and then how these wishes could help impact your personal journey. How you think it would get you to that end spot. Who wants to go first? Musical Morgan.
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
go ahead.
So my first is stable housing for the duration of college, and my second is continuous income of money that wouldn't require more stress on my schedule. So first one, of course, being college students, you don't want to be worrying about if you spend money on books, then how are you going to pay your rent, and then therefore you're going to be homeless. So that's always a big stressor. And then, of course, it'd be nice to have just a flow of money that could help you focus more on school rather than focus more on a job schedule. So.
Right. So, and maybe I wrote down financial freedom also. I think that's like a big stressor because then you wouldn't have to worry about a place because you could afford any place, and so you wouldn't be worrying about if it's something you could afford. Okay, good one. No one wrote in a new car. No one needs transportation. All right, you go next.
I wish for financial stability because I struggle a lot with a ton of bills and then low income in comparison to the amount of bills. So not necessarily, unlimited funds, just enough funds to not have to worry about it all the time. And then I also wish for exceptional artistic talent because I'd love to be able to draw, and every time I try I get frustrated with myself, and it would help me get into more careers that I'm interested in.
Okay, so you think, you feel like perhaps your frustrations with art, if you were just a magical drawer or had magical artistic abilities, that it would prevent some of the frustrations you're dealing with?
Well, it would help me express myself more too on things that I'd like to draw and do, and then help me go places I'd like to go, like career fields I'm interested in but I can't quite achieve.
Okay.
Okay. Well, for the first one, I put time management because I'm really bad with procrastinating. I always wait till the last minute to do my homework, and even though I have enough time to do it throughout the day, I'd rather do funner things, but there needs to be more of a balance. So having good time management skills would be really helpful. And the second one was I want a bird. In the place I live now, I can't have any pets, but I feel like it'd be a positive distraction from stress. So I could go home and relax more and not have to worry about my studies as much. And then also when I get home and I'm alone, then I won't feel so lonely because I'll have a little companion there. So just like a stress relief. So I'm not
What kind of bird in your magical wish would it be? Like a huge macaw?
No.
Parakeet?
Pretty much.
Lovebird?
No. Just a conure. They're really cute and they're smart, and I like the way they poop their heads up and down. It's just really cute.
Okay. So a magical bird and and the talent of time management. Okay. How about you, bud?
Okay, so the first one would be, if I could have any wish, it would be to not need any kind of sleep. So I could just keep going. Then I'd have more time to get all the stuff I want to do done. Because I want to learn how to play a whole bunch of different instruments. And I want to improve my writing skills. There are a lot of things I want to improve, but I don't have enough time. And I think if I got rid of sleep, then I'd have even more time, and I could just keep going. I think that'd be pretty cool.
So you want to be the Energizer Bunny. You just want me to put a battery in the back of one, and he could just keep going.
Yeah, like a never-ending. Wait, it's Edward.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Edward. I'm sorry.
But anyway, just a never-ending battery. Just keeps going.
Energetic Edward. Yes.
And then the other one would be better organizational skills. I've got so many things I want to do, and sometimes if I can't decide on something, I don't end up doing either of them or anything at all. So it'd be nice to have become the greatest organizer in the world.
Wow, that's heavy. That's heavy. And maybe if you and Tanisha's Tristy over here got together, her time management and your organizational skills, you guys would be like a leading CEO company or something. World domination.
Why not?
Why not? And you would never be sleeping, so you'd have plenty of time to, take over the world.
Yeah, definitely.
So the idea of this, maybe I'll share mine. Okay, so I also wrote down financial freedom. I'm not looking to have the most money in the world, but just free of financial stress. I think it stresses a lot of people out. And that way, perhaps I could do work that I feel is personally rewarding instead of having to do work that just pays bills. And because I'm a couple decades older than you guys, I start to realize that, you know, jobs are really great, and you know, what I did in college was certainly rewarding to help me get a position where I could, you know, support myself to an extent, but just financial freedom, I think, would really help me get to that feeling completely full point. And then good health, you know, unlimited good health. We've all been under the weather lately, and so it just reminds me that being able-bodied and good health so that I do have unlimited time, or I can be more organized. It's just definitely a distraction I'm not excited about. So sometimes when we look at our wishes and we reflect back on where we are as first-year college students, you know, I think a lot of your stuff was really very timely and mindful. So, you know, for you, one thing I want to think about, like individually now, because we'll have one more session, is to think of things that we could, you know, realistically apply to improve our quality of life as a first-year college student, but also to have some levity and have some fun. So some of the things I thought about while you guys were talking is, you know, program resources. I'd like to make a meeting maybe individually with those of you who, you know, if you're worried about books, and we have book lending programs on campus, and I want to make sure that we've tuned you into that to see if you're eligible for any of that. A lot of times we have resources that, you know, as a first-time college student you're not aware of. So I think that, you know, if we could offline, for any of you who are interested in doing that, you know, when we're done with our session, I could walk you guys over to a couple of departments, fill out a really quick application, and try to figure out what we can do as far as resources on campus to help alleviate some of that stress financially. And then additionally, you know, in the spring we have scholarships, so I want to make sure that you guys are all applying for scholarships, and we have workshops for that. We also do lunch there too. So just to kind of alleviate some of that pressure. So obviously it's not like your wish of financial freedom, or, you know, but it will help, I think, alleviate some stress. So for time management and organizational skills, you know, we do have some workshops on campus for that, and I think that, you know, for first-year college students, that is really important. I mean, we're not really taught how to study, and we're not really taught how to, you know, make agendas and prioritize our homework or figure out what's most important. And then when you're working and you have other commitments, you know, it just all kind of layers on top of each other. So it is hard to be organized or feel like your time management, you're making the most of the time you have available. So I would definitely like to see, you know, if you guys are interested, maybe applying for a couple of these workshops. They're free, and to help you guys, you know, kind of organize these things. And then additionally, you know, as you're going through the next couple of weeks before our next session, think of things where you've perhaps made a decision and you're like, oh, you know, I guess I could have done that differently, or, you know, maybe I could have started journaling more, or using my planner, or, you know, I know you guys are on the digital era, so maybe you put everything in your phone. I'm not sure, it's some kind of electronic calendar, because I'm a dinosaur and I still use paper and everything. So, so what do you guys think? Maybe for our next session, we'll come back, our last session, and we'll utilize some of these things to see if it helped at all alleviate some of the stress that we're dealing with as first-year student, and kind of regroup and see if there's even more ideas we could use to apply after our last session to get through the rest of the academic year. What do you guys think? Do you have any questions?